Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're back with day 8? Are we on day 8 of the Scourge of Ghyran? I think it's day 8. I struggle with time at the best. So, yeah, since the pandemic, I lost all sense of what a day actually is. Which isn't a good thing to say, but I guess that's fitting for today's army faction. Because we're here with the Ossiarch Bonereapers, who have nothing but time. This is the Skeletal Debt Collectors, and they're coming knocking. Lore-wise, we have Alex with our lore drop. We will skim over that because we just want the rules here. So what do we actually have? Bonereapers Battle Tome isn't out, so we can compare their rules with the faction pack that I've currently got open on the other page, and then what we have here. So that's going to add a little bit more to this video, I think. I like doing these compare bits. It's a shame when we can't do them. But anyway, let's focus on the Bone Boys themselves. As you would expect from a military-minded Mortek, today's installment includes 2 new battle formations with which to do battle in the realm of life. Inflict misery on the living and then turn them into bone constructs when they don't pay their tithes. Pesky living things. It's the elves' fault. Get the elves first. The Hekatos Drillmasters formation is entirely suited to this task, as it enables you to upgrade an infantry unit to be faster, stabbier, and harder to kill. 1 infantry unit, I would guess from that, but that sounds fun. Meanwhile, the Tithe Guards formation makes use of all the spare bone lying around the battlefield, putting it to good use to repair the Legion. Oh god. It's not going to be a huge heal, but that already sounds quite nice. Continuing the theme of deathly reanimation and rejuvenation, the Mortisans have learnt a new spell lore, the Law of Necrothurgy. All 3 spells are super easy to cast on a 5 up, wow, and revolve around ignoring incoming damage, bolster creation, empowering your units with extra attacks, invigorate the ranks, and inflicting damage on the enemy before using their shattered bone parts to rebuild your own warriors. Soul Claim. All 3 work perfectly with the new battle formations and war scrolls, which are the Mortisan Boneshaper and the Mortek Guard. So the Boneshaper, I think, and we'll find out, but I think it's this guy here. Really nice model. I love the ancient Greek vibe, so I've always been drawn to the Bonereapers. I think that they're that really cool mix of Ray Harryhausen ancient Greece that I love, but they're still completely fantasy. Skeletal warriors are cool anyway. Always been interested in these. I was so close to starting a Bonereapers army before the Dark Oath came out, and then the Dark Oath came out, and I just went, nope, I want to be Conan. But this is definitely an army that I want to do in the future, and with potentially their new Spearhead, we could have a look at maybe doing some Spearhead on the channel, things like that. That's certainly something that I'm interested in. So while they haven't got their battle tome, I'm definitely interested in what they can actually do. And I just think they look really cool. With the right paint scheme, they really pop. Anyway, back to the new War Scrolls. The Boneshaper has taken its job title to heart by finding new ways to shape bones. It can do this in 2 ways, by gaining bonuses to units when they rally, and by summoning replacement units when others have perished. Meanwhile, this version of the Mortek Guard now has the Shields of the Legion rule, which allows them to protect nearby Mortek crawlers, Gothizar harvesters, and Mortisans. Bolstering them with 1 of the new formation's spells, or both, you can use them to keep your other units safe from harm. Nagash will be most pleased. I don't think anything pleases Nagash. Interesting though. So this sounds like they're playing into the bodyguard idea that I don't quite think across any of their game systems they've figured out how to do properly. That'll be interesting. We'll touch on battle profiles when we get there. No facts today, but there's a distant red tint in the air ahead of tomorrow's article, in which we'll be taking a look at some new terrain rules from the General's Handbook. A distant red tint to the air. I have no idea. So we're going to be looking at terrain. I mentioned how I think terrain. I was thinking more faction terrain, but also terrain in general. Sounds like is going to be tweaked for the new General's Handbook. So that'll be really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that, so we'll do that tomorrow. What could a red tint be? The only thing I can think of is, Daughters of Cain are all about blood. The Cornite warband, I can't remember what they're called, but they're all about blood as well, aren't they? I don't know what that could be. Let me know in the comments if you know. Ossiarch Bonereapers, Battle Formations, Tithe Guards. Once per turn army your hero phase, Plentiful Bone. My brain went somewhere else with that. That's not a good start to the day, is it? Declare, pick a friendly, non-unique Ossiarch Bonereapers wizard to use this ability. Then pick up to 3 visible friendly non-fly Ossiarch Bonereapers units wholly within 12 inches of that wizard to be the target. Effect, roll a d3 for each target. On a 2-up, if the target is damaged, heal X, where X is the amount equal to the roll. It's quite nice. If the target is not damaged, return a number of slain models to it with a combined health characteristic equal to or less than the roll. Did we not see that rule? Then this is the Pitfalls of the Grotmus detachments. Did we not see that rule? Was it yesterday? We've seen that rule in the last couple of days. Maybe it was Nighthaunt, I can't remember. This is where the negative of this stuff comes in. So first up, it's not really a huge negative because it is new rules and it isn't giving it to every faction. But there is quite a lot of mirrored abilities for factions. Maybe certain factions, like Grand Army factions and things, get similar stuff, but with the way that they have to quickly write these rules and come up with them, it's like, I've got an idea, right, well, 6 of the factions are going to have that rule, and we'll just word it around. I like that. I think that's quite strong, but it is a repeated ability, and I would wager we're going to start to see more of this, which I'll probably point out as we go, but on the whole, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. We're getting free rules and new ways to play with these amazing models. It's just something that pops up and is quite apparent and was very apparent with the Grotmus stuff. But either way, from a completely sole Bonereapers perspective, I think that's quite nice. The Hekatos Drill Masters, once per turn army, your hero phase, Disciplined Hekatonai. Declare, pick a friendly non-hero, non-fly Ossiarch Bonereapers infantry unit to be the target. Effect, pick one of the following effects to apply until the start of your next turn. So this is for one unit. Unit has a 5-up ward, add 1 to charge rolls for the target, add 1 to wound rolls for the target's attacks, and the target's melee weapons have anti-charge +1 rend. Wow, nice. On the whole, some pretty nice options. So if you're not going to charge with them, if you're keeping them defensive, you could do anti-charge, which means when they're charged, they get +1 rend, which is nice. You just give them a straight up 5-up ward, or you could add 1 to wound rolls for the target's attacks. On a big unit clustered up around an objective that you're trying to hold, that one could be quite nice. I really like that. I think that's pretty solid. I like both of those. Spell Law, the Law of the Necrothurgy. All of these, as they mentioned in the article, go off on a 5, which is pretty good. And they're all keyword spell except the first one. So this one is the unlimited spell. They all happen in your hero phase. Bolster Creation is the unlimited. Declare, pick a friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers wizard to cast this spell. Pick a visible friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers unit wholly within 12 inches of them to be the target, and make a casting roll of 2d6. Remember, this goes off on 5. Effect, until the start of your next turn, ignore the first damage point allocated to the target in each phase. It's just 1 point of damage, isn't it? I mean, it goes off on a 5. I don't think it's that exciting. Damage mitigation is always nice, but it reads to me 1 point of damage each phase. So, granted, it's not just a one and done thing. I mean, I don't think it's terrible. It's absolutely not terrible, because damage mitigation, I think, is pretty good in a game like this. I don't know, it doesn't excite me. Second spell, Invigorate the Ranks. Declare, pick a friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers wizard to cast the spell. Pick a friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers unit wholly within 12 inches of them to be the target. Make a casting roll at 2d6. Effect, add 1 to the attack's characteristics of the target's melee weapons until the start of your next turn. You pair that with Hekatos Drill Masters, give them +1 to wound, and then you've got extra attacks as well. That's getting a little bit deadly. And finally, Soul Claim. Declare, pick a friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers wizard to cast this spell. Pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of them to be the enemy target. Then, you can pick a visible friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers unit wholly within 12 inches of that wizard to be the friendly target. Then make a casting roll of 2d6. So 18 inches away you pick an enemy unit, within 12 inches of the wizard you pick a friendly unit. Effect, inflict d3 mortal damage on the enemy target. If any models are slain by this ability, pick one of the following. Heal 3, the friendly target, nice. Return a number of slain models to the friendly target with a combined health characteristic of up to 3. That's a riff on things that we've already seen previously, but actually, I think that's better. I think that's so cool, so thematic. So you're doing damage to an enemy unit, and then you're bringing or healing or bringing units back to life very fantasy necromantic spell style, isn't it? I love these. Those two, Invigorate the Ranks and Soul Claim, are just the kind of stuff I love to see. Monster Creation isn't bad. As an unlimited spell that you can pop off on a 5, I don't think you can really have an issue with it. But the other two, especially going off on 5s, I think are really nice. I'm liking everything here so far. Over to the War Scrolls now. Let's take a look at the Mortisan Boneshaper. I like that model. And it really fits that vibe of the Soul Claim stuff, doesn't it? Just creating and forging it. Yeah, it's such a cool model. So what do we actually have? We have a 5-inch move with a 4-up save, 6-up ward, 5 health, 2 control. Melee weapons, Ossified Talons, crit, 2 hits. Nice. 3 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 4s, no rend but 2 damage. Passive, Legion Quartermaster. Effect, each time a friendly non-hero Ossiarch Bonereapers unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit uses a rally command, you can make 3 additional rally rolls of d6. Oh, that's not bad, is it? And then Hero Phase Boneshaper, it's 1 point. Declare if this unit is not in combat, pick a friendly Mortek guard unit that has been destroyed to be the target. Effect, set up a replacement unit with half the number of models from the target unit rounding up, wholly within 12 inches of this unit and more than 9 inches away from all enemy units. 1 command point, you take a Mortek guard unit, you can bring half of them back, rounding up. That's just generally strong, quite a nice buffing character there. Keywords Hero Wizard 1, Inventory, Ward 6 up, Death, Ossiarch Bonereapers and Mortisan. He is 120 points and regiment options 0 to 1, Gothizar Harvester and any inventory. So let's take a look at the faction pack rules. So faction pack Mortisan Boneshaper, 5-inch move, 4-up save with a 6-up ward, 5 health, 2 control, all the same. Ossified Talons, 3 attacks, 4s on 4s, no rend, 2 damage, crit, 2 hits. So that's exactly the same. The ability, once per turn your hero phase, Boneshaper, declare pick a friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Effect, roll a dice. On a 3-up, if the target is damaged, heal 3 the target, and if the target is not damaged, return a number of slain models to the target unit with a combined health characteristic of up to 3. Very similar to that last spell that we saw. Keywords Hero, Wizard 1, Inventory, 6-up ward, Death, Ossiarch Bonereapers and Mortisan. So really the only change here is the ability. So this model is 110 points. So for an extra 10 points, you are getting still the same ability because you have your Soul Claim spell there, which gives this character basically the base ability, but you're also gaining the Boneshaper, which you can bring back a number of Mortek Guard for a command point still, and you just gain an extra 3 d6 for Rally Command. So for an extra 10 points, I think we have a clear winner. I think this is so much better. Really, really nice. It is just a buffing unit anyway, but I feel like the Boneshaper now really has a bigger functionality within the army. I think that's really cool. I think that's actually incredibly cool. I like that profile. Over to the Mortek Guard now. 4-inch move, 4-up save with a 6-up ward, 1 health, 1 control. On melee weapons, you have Nadirite blades or spears, anti-cavalry plus 1 rend, and crit 2 hits. Very nice. They're 2 attacks, hits on 3s, wounds on 4s, no rend but 1 damage. I can see where the rend might actually come into play with the options for the Drill Master battle formation. And their ability, once per phase army, reaction, when an Ossiarch Bonereapers War Machine monster or Mortisan unit within this unit's combat range was targeted by an attack ability. Shields of the Legion. Effect for the rest of the phase, subtract 1 from the rend characteristic of weapons used for attacks that target that friendly unit. So it doesn't stop the attacks, it just weakens the rend. Keywords, they are Inventory, Champion, Standard Bearer, 1 of 10, so they're a unit of 10. Ward 6 up, which is nice, certainly on Inventory, and Death, Ossiarch Bonereapers. For the unit of 10, they are 120 points, and regiment options, Inventory. And the Mortek Guard for the faction pack, 4-inch move, 4-up save with a 6-up ward, so no change there, 1 health, 1 control. Melee weapons, Nidorite weapons, 2 attacks, hits on 3s, wounds on 4s, no rend 1 damage, anti-charge +1 rend, crit 2 hits. I think that's the same, isn't it? And their passive shield wall effect, ignore all modifiers to save rolls for this unit, positive and negative, for the rest of the turn if the unit did not use a move ability in the same turn. Keywords infantry, champion, standard bearer, 1 of 10, 6-up ward, death, Ossiarch Bonereapers. Again, just a unit of 10, and they are 120 points for that unit of 10. Again, I think we have a clear winner. Shield wall, you can argue, has its moments, but on a 4-inch move, you probably want to be running these guys up the board a little bit. I mean, it depends where you position them and how you build your army, but to gain the passive, you need to not move. They don't really have much of a move, so very situational as to when you're actually going to gain that benefit. Whereas these guys, you can still move, you can keep them close, and they can actually protect. And you wouldn't need, well, you'd have maybe 1 unit and have them maybe covering 2 characters, or 1 war machine and 1 character or something. No points increase, no change to any of their stats. They just lose a passive which is questionable for its use to gain something that I would argue is much more usable and probably easier to use as well. For infantry units, anything with a 6-up ward I think is quite nice, but they sound quite strong. 120 points isn't that much for a 10-man unit that is going to be putting out 21 attacks with crit 2 hits. They sound brutal. How do Bonereapers actually play? Ossiarch Bonereaper players, let me know if they meant to be like a horde army, or what's the general idea with Bonereapers? Let me know in the comments. I like both of the new profiles. I think both of the new profiles feel much better and a bit more thematic, and for no real points increase, I think you're getting some really nice extra abilities. Spell lore, the unlimited spells are always a little bit, well, they're not all questionable, I suppose. I think you'd be doing that just to do it because you've already used the other 2 spells. But both of these, Invigorate Ranks and Soul Claim, I love Soul Claim. Both of these I think are pretty cool, and I think these battle formations are actually quite nice as well, just comparing them to what we've seen previously and these 2. Don't know what the Ossiarch Bonereapers battle formations do in their faction pack, but these sound like quite nice extras, and the Hekatos Drill Masters really sings to me. I know it's only 1 unit, but you could really do, if you couple that with one of the spells, these units alone, you could really do some fun stuff. Ossiarch players, let me know in the comments what you think of this faction update. Generally, I think it's pretty good, but tell me what I'm missing. You guys know the faction better than I do. This definitely keeps my interest with the faction, and knowing that these rules are going to be available for the next 12 months once the General's Handbook is out, I think that's really cool and exciting. But let me know what you guys think. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.